At our 11s meeting today on Zoom, we looked at the chapter in Matthew chapter 14, and it's the chapter entitled Jesus Walks on the Water. And if you remember the story, this comes after Jesus receives the news that John the Baptist has been beheaded and he's grieving, but also directly after he feeds the 5,000 with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. And what we get in this story is that Jesus and the disciples have been really busy ministering to this massive crowd of people. And the passage starts in verse 22, where it says, "Immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side of the lake." While he goes and dismisses the crowd and goes up the mountain to pray. He spends most of the night on the mountain praying before coming down and walking approximately 200 meters across the lake to meet with the disciples in the boat. And the story goes on that they cross over, after Peter had walked on the water as well, they cross over the lake and they're immediately met by another crowd of people needing the help of Jesus. They were seeking him out because people knew that they could get healing from him. Just to touch the edge of his garment, people were healed. And the discussion that I led this morning was really interesting because we were thinking about the different time zones of that story, of it being evening when the people needed feeding, and then Jesus dismissing the disciples and the crowd, and then nighttime comes, he goes to the mountain, they're on the water, and then they cross the lake and reach the other side very early in the morning, probably sometime between 3 and 6 in the morning, and then they're met with more need again. And we compared this time that we are in with the disciples being in the boat. This time of being right in the middle of that lake between what they've come from, what they'd left, and what they are going to. They'd left busy and they went to busy. But on the lake, whilst they were in the boat and it was a bit windy, we thought about that being a time of rest, to get away from it all, to be still and to be alone. Because Jesus wasn't with them at that point. Yes, spiritually he was with them, but physically he wasn't. And we compared that to where we're at the moment with this sort of lockdown restrictions. And it prompted a really good discussion about what we've left behind, where we are now, but what the future looks like. And it was Adrian who made a really important comment, that really resonated with some of us, was that in this story, Jesus initiates everything. Jesus initiates feeding the 5,000. Jesus initiates sending the disciples away and dismissing the crowd. Jesus initiates going to them walking on the water, etc. And there are so many times that we try and fix what's ahead. And yes, we need to be diligent, we need to take responsibility, but we also need to wait for Jesus to lead us and to initiate. And so that was the thought I want to leave with you just in this video, is that we feel that we're in this boat together, waiting for the new normal. Whatever that looks like, we don't know. And this is an opportunity to review and to think about what we've left behind and what we're going to. And I would like you over the next few days to really think about what we have left behind. Perhaps there are things that you don't like from the past about church or about your own personal life that you'd actually prefer to leave behind and not pick up again. And use this as a time of being in the boat to dream about a new future, of what Open Door Church could look like, or what your life could look like with Jesus initiating the next step. So I'll leave that with you. Please pray and think about what I've said. Read the story. You'll find it in Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 36 and just ponder what God in the living word would say to you. Thank you.